Hey everyone, welcome back to Cobra J. Today I'm going to take you through the entire story of symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality. Now I have made some very brief shorts summarizing some of the issues from this story, but I really want to start taking my time with these stories, so I probably won't be doing the shorts as much and will focus on these actual full story videos. So I hope you guys enjoy this story or at least find it interesting. This series has all the hallmarks of any Spider-Man story. It has goblins, it has romantic twists, and of course it has Spider-Man having a really shitty time. So we start off in Siberia. Years ago, we see Doctor Strange and Black Widow examining what's fallen from the sky. Strange reveals that this box is the Word of God. This scares off Natasha as she leaves Strange to his devices. We flash forward to present day.
Stay still, Watercolor. Die with dignity.
Sorry, Craven. Given the choice, I'm all for dying of old age. I mean, you're a hunter. Why don't I ever see you, out on safari or something? Go bother animals in Africa for a change. Better yet, slug it out with Tarzan or the Phantom. They're both jungle guys. I mean, did it ever occur to you that I keep beating you because you're out of your element?
Or maybe you've simply been lucky.
Since when does Craven pack such a punch?
A toxin, not fatal. Enough to render you unconscious, however.
They continue to fight through the airport. Thanks to Peter's symbiote suit, Craven's toxin has no effect on him. He then takes a hostage holding a blade to the woman's throat. Peter doesn't say a word, and he slowly walks towards Craven.
But that's not possible. Why is your body language shifted? Stay back. Last one. Ugh.
Spider-Man grabs his throat and is about to knock his head off, when suddenly his vision gets blurry.
Spider-Man, are you alright?
Huh? What's happening? Blacked out.
There he is. You okay, hero? What's wrong, Spidey? Oh, my clothes!
What kind of game is this? What the hell are you wearing? Peter is unsure what to make of this. All of a sudden, Craven is his buddy and partner, and they were both just stopping a hijacker. Peter leaves trying to figure out what to do, when he sees the Spider-Mobile waiting for him. Okay, sure. Craven's a good guy. He's my pal. Everybody knows that. And up is down and black is white. So why the heck not toss the Spider-Mobile into this mess? As Peter drives the Spider-Mobile around town to find some answers, he ends up spotting the black cat and goes to her for help. We then see this black cat looks very different from the one Peter's used to. He recognizes her as the Black Widow, and she calls him by his full name, revealing to him that in this reality, they are together. Peter stops her, however, and leaves. We see the Spider-Mobile getting towed before he swings to the Sanctum Sanctorum. He's greeted by Wong, but he has no idea who Doctor Strange is. He tells him the Sorcerer Supreme is not home, but he's more than welcome to meet his acolyte. Peter's spider sense goes off before we see the Hobgoblin wearing the Cloak of Levitation. Hobgoblin, what have you done? Peter attacks Hobgoblin but is no match for his magic. He dodges the crimson bands before he escapes out the window of the Sanctum Sanctorum. The Hobgoblin chases him, however, throwing magical snakes at him, causing him to fall from the sky. Luckily, Peter lands on a truck full of mattresses. However, he's then hit by a bus. I don't have exact change, is that a problem? Of course, please. Not much to look at, really. Yeah, that figures too. A pumpkin bomb? I'd have thought you'd outgrown those. Peter is then trapped in crimson bands, and the goblin is about to finish his prey, when suddenly the Spider-Mobile crashes him into a building. Peter runs down an alleyway, and the goblin follows. However, Peter is nowhere to be found. The Hobgoblin is unable to find him, and leaves in fury. He was looking right at me. And the Spider-Mobile? What just happened? I did. We see a disheveled man with long hair and a dirty coat. When Peter realizes this is Dr. Stephen Strange. Peter takes Strange to eat, where he explains the Word of God was stolen. He doesn't know by who. Someone tricked Wong into entering the Sanctum. Of course, I knew immediately that something was wrong once he touched the book, but he was too late. And it was not long after that, an army of mindless ones was stampeding through the Sanctum, driving me out of there. Whoever stole the book altered reality so Strange was no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. However, with the sling ring, he was able to do some magic. Whoever made the changes, they could have just blinked you out of existence, right? You and me, everyone.
That is correct.
Then why didn't they? Obliterating us wouldn't suffice. They're all about power, and they want us to exist in a world where we have none, for spite, for revenge. Call it what you will. I call it a mistake is what I call it. As long as we're alive, we can turn this around. The question is, how? I believe I have the answer to that. Are you nuts? You want to teach me the mystic arts? We can use the same tactics my enemy did. I can teach you the same basic spells that the Hobgoblin utilized. Once you're inside, you can use them as he did. I don't know, Doc. This whole magic thing, it's a little outside my wheelhouse, you know? my friend. You're talking to a man who is a surgeon who didn't believe sorcery even existed. I used to reside in that same wheelhouse. At least you're further along than I was. You know magic is real. Do not underestimate your capabilities. Not to mention, we don't really have another choice. Peter calls Aunt May to tell her he's coming over. He knocks on her door to discover Uncle Ben is still alive. Peter is at a loss for words and hugs Uncle Ben, telling him he was just in a really bad dream. Peter is happy and confused at the same time, trying to process how this is possible. He then considers if this reality is better. For Aunt May it certainly was, and he wonders if he should even help Strange fix this world. They share a few more moments before Peter's spider sense goes off, with the hobgoblin blasting through. He explains he just used a spell that led him straight to Spider-Man, and Peter has no choice but to suit up in front of his aunt and uncle. Peter webs that hobgoblin but has no luck, dodging more crimson bands before tricking hobgoblin into trapping himself. He's able to web up the goblin, but it looks like he's charging his powers. Suddenly the house explodes into flames and smoke as the hobgoblin escapes. The dust clears to reveal Peter holding a dead Aunt May, as Uncle Ben blames him. The police confront Peter when a smoke grenade is thrown between them, and Natasha helps him escape, leaving Uncle Ben holding May. Peter returns to Strange and demands he teach him everything. Back at the sanctum, the hobgoblin is searching for Spider-Man and Strange, but he's unable to locate them anywhere in the world. Wong suggests maybe he underestimated them, and the goblin turns him into a toy monkey. Strange takes Natasha and Peter to Camartage, where he learned the mystic arts, a place mystically warded against detection. Suddenly they're attacked by bats and Morbius, and believe me, I was not expecting any Morbin time in this series. They handle him with ease and run inside Camartage where he can't enter. When they're inside, Strange reveals it's going to take years to train Spider-Man. However, here time moves at a different rate than in the outside world. At night when they're supposed to be sleeping, Morbius is confronted by Spider-Man. Spider-Man launches symbiote blades and shreds through Morbius when he's stopped by Strange, who recognizes that this is not Spider-Man. Essentially right here, Strange is talking directly to the Venom symbiote, and at this point in time in Spider-Man's life, Peter is unaware that the symbiote is alive. Strange makes a deal with Venom, saying that if he's able to train Peter in magic, he won't say anything. We have one page that summarizes the entirety of Peter's mystic arts training. He was taught primarily defensive moves. He would be able to defend against magic and counter with the uniqueness of his own powers. We cut to Doc Ock robbing a bank as usual when Peter crashes in. Otto immediately launches his arms towards him, and Peter uses his magic for the first time in the outside world. However, Otto is able to catch Peter, but is punched from behind as Peter was using an illusion technique. Later they approach the Sanctum Sanctorum, and Peter rushes in with Natasha. They're confronted by the Hobgoblin, and Peter doesn't hesitate to duplicate himself. Dozens of Spider-Men surround the Hobgoblin, allowing Peter and Natasha to look for the book. However, Peter is attacked and his shield breaks, to reveal the Sorcerer Supreme Baron Mordo, who ends up capturing Natasha. Strange approaches Mordo, and instead of using magic, he pepper sprays him in the face. Strange quickly grabs hold of the Eye of Agamotto before he's blasted backward, and they escape. Natasha scoffs at Mordo and demands he untie her, saying she's the one that has to do everything. And I want to add, apparently in this reality, she's called the Red Cat. Okay, so now we're gonna get really fantastical and mystical, so bear with me, because even for me, sometimes it's a bit too much for a Spider-Man comic. Peter is angry that they aren't going back for Natasha, and Strange explains something didn't feel right about her. Peter grabs hold of Strange and threatens him before backing off. Strange gives in, however, and they go back. And they find Natasha doesn't need any saving. She makes up a story about how she escaped and tells them where the Word of God is, the Nightmare Realm. Strange explains it's essentially a dream dimension, overseen by one of Doctor Strange's villains, Nightmare. They wonder how they're gonna get there, and Natasha has a suggestion. I'm not entirely sure what she throws on the ground here. Comment down below if you know, but it causes them to knock out essentially, and apparently that's enough for them to be sent to the Nightmare Realm. So in this dream dimension, we see a form of the Venom symbiote. Strange confronts him and asks where Spider-Man is, to which Venom simply replies he's checked out. He explains Peter essentially shut down after May died, and he had to take over. And Strange explains how he knew he wasn't actually Peter. So apparently all the events that happen after May dies in this series aren't technically Peter talking. It's Venom, I guess, talking through Peter. They both escape this nightmare Daily Bugle, and they see Gwen Stacy falling as Spider-Man catches her. However, she's instantly killed by the Green Goblin. Spider-Man unmasks the Goblin, who's revealed to be Mary Jane. Strange explains none of this matters and he's just wasting his time, hence the whole Nightmare name. When they finally find Nightmare, he tries to scare them, but they aren't impressed. At least Strange isn't. And Nightmare volunteers to help them. He explains the book is too powerful to be in his realm and sees it as a threat. Strange grabs hold of the book and opens it, but there's nothing in it, and Strange realizes he doesn't have his sling ring anymore. The goblin sent a decoy book to the Nightmare Realm, and Natasha knew this. She was working with Mordo and the goblin this whole time. We then see Mordo take hold of the Book of God and vaporizes it from existence. Back in the Nightmare Realm, Strange feels the Word of God being destroyed. As everything turns into darkness around them, Strange falls to his knees, hopeless now that the book has been destroyed. Nightmare jokingly comforts them now that they're essentially trapped here forever. And out of anger, Peter sucker punches him. When Peter questions how nothing can be done about this, Strange says Mordo used the book to wipe out its own existence, so that it was never created in the first place. So basically you're saying he retconned it. Alright, now I have no idea what you're talking about. Retroactive continuity. It was a phrase mentioned in the letters page of a comic book and was shortened to retcon. It means you rewrite history to match up with the present. Well, that's basically how memory works. It's not linear. It's isolated incidents that you reconstruct to accommodate your current views. That's why it's so unreliable. Okay, so the thing with retcons is they aren't real. People always remember. Always. Yes, so? Even people who've lost faith in God still remember having had it. So let's put aside all this rational scientific thought for a moment and say that God exists. Good plan so far. And humanity is made in God's own image. Genesis 1:27. So when the Word of God is in the mind of humanity, even if it's gone, it's still there. It's mankind's imagination that can't be retconned away. And we right now are in the realm of humanity's dreams. We're at ground zero for imagination, meaning we're in a unique position to access what we need to recreate it. But is it possible? Hey, in 1961, JFK said we'd put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And we did it, because we imagined we could. Remember our lessons on meditation? First thing you taught me, then you must do it as never before. Close your eyes. They are closed. Right, mask, forgot, sorry. Slow your breathing. Feel the flow of your pranayama, your inner soul. Breathe in and out from your heart. And now you must go beyond yourself. Lock into the world around you. Feel the emotions, the sensations, all the dreams of humanity. Tap into that. Become one with it. Your soul and theirs are merging with it. Okay, that's unexpected. We then see Peter taken across the dream realm by Nightmare. Here we start getting really philosophical and talking about how if you can make enough of an impact on society and the world around you, do you essentially become a god in your own right? And we see a lot of influential figures from history, from Einstein to Benjamin Franklin to Da Vinci to even Steve Jobs. And I don't know, it's kind of a commentary on the definition of God and do we make our own gods? Do we not? Does God exist? All that stuff. It's there for you to read, but it's a lot. And we get this really awesome panel of essentially the entire history of Marvel and how they kind of represent dreams and inhumanity. And essentially Nightmare is trying to get Spider-Man to make the Word of God exist by not just saying I believe in God or I believe in any higher power, but just having faith enough to dream bigger is in fact a type of the Word of God, essentially. That's what I'm getting out of it. Let me know what you guys got out of this whole messaging. So Spider-Man or Venom or Peter, whoever is actually in control, they are able to manifest the Word of God into existence. And we see Venom leap through the book and attacks Hobgoblin. Natasha leaves. And this is interesting because the dream realm where Venom's true self was active is now in the real world, and we see him roughing up the Hobgoblin. Baron Mordo sees Venom for what he is, calls him a beast, and incapacitates him, and allows Hobgoblin to deal the final blow. However, the Hobgoblin suddenly disappears, and Strange takes his cloak back. Wong knocks out Mordo, and we see that reality has been restored. Peter has a hard time remembering what's happened. Strange just tells him he was in a battle with Nightmare, and that's why he's all confused, and he questions how much Peter really knows about his costume. Peter then says he has to go see what the Black Widow is up to. Strange corrects him, however, saying, "Don't you mean Black Cat?" So I guess Peter still has some kind of connection or vague memory of the previous reality. We then see Natasha kind of blip back into a movie theater and she's confused how she got there. Now, the confusing thing for me in this series is that sometimes when Peter is talking, it's technically supposed to be Venom posing as Peter, but it seems like it's Peter Parker talking when he's making, comic book references or when he's explaining the whole retcon definition. It doesn't seem like that's Venom talking, but then Strange and Nightmare are saying, oh, you're not Peter Parker, you're another being. So you guys let me know how you interpreted some of this stuff, or the messaging. It gets really philosophical at the end of this story. I know I've gotten some comments in the previous shorts that I uploaded about this series. I saw some people were not a fan of this series, some people thought it was really intriguing, so I'm really curious to see what the majority of people say about this story. Thank you guys very much for watching this. Please like the video so YouTube can show this video to more people, and I will see you guys in the next video.